James O'Brien brutally took down Nigel Farage in a 50-second rant, just moments after taking over from the politician on LBC. The Reform leader had been a guest on Nick Ferrari's show, and so at the handover James, without explicitly naming the Reform leader, listed a few of the Clacton MP's most glaring career faults. He took in the criminal history of Reform MP James McMurdoch, Farage's endorsement of suspected sex trafficker Andrew Tate, and accused the former UKIP leader of lighting the fire of the racially motivated riots earlier this summer. James said, "There's a lot to get through today. For example, if you ever had violent race riots named after you, or indeed been accused by the head of the Met of emboldening the racist thugs responsible, has your violent, ignorant rhetoric helped instigate attempts to burn people alive in their beds?" James was referring there to the rioting that began in Southport after the knife attack at a dance class resulted in the deaths of 3 young girls. Senior Conservative MP Tom Tugendhat described remarks made by Farage in response to the incident as irresponsible and dangerous. Mr. Tugendhat went on to accuse Farage of amplifying false information by spreading false information about the attacker, which had initially been retweeted by self-proclaimed misogynist influencer Andrew Tate. James hadn't missed that connection either, as he continued, "Have you ever cited a self-described misogynist facing rape and people trafficking charges in Romania as a trustworthy news source for events in the UK, or described yourself as part of a similar phenomenon to him?" In July of this year, Farage publicly said he is part of a similar phenomenon to Tate's woman-hating agenda, and went on to claim that there were forces in society trying to stop young men from being young men. James finished off his devastating character assassination by asking, "Have you ever helped a convicted woman beater get elected to the UK Parliament? And have any newly elected MPs spent more time in America getting binned off by Donald Trump than they have in their own constituency? And what would you call someone who answers yes to all those questions on your radio?" The convicted woman beater he was referring to would have been James McMurdoch, the Reform Party representative who was elected as Member of Parliament for South Basildon and East Thurrock at the last general election. McMurdoch was described as a monster by the mother of a young woman he violently attacked in 2005. McMurdoch has recently admitted that he is still deeply ashamed of his actions, for which he served 10 days in a young offenders institution. Farage's deep enthusiasm for Trump is well known, and he has certainly spent a good deal of time in the US both before and after the recent general election. There have been some complaints from some Clacton voters that he hasn't been since winning his seat. Local Labour activist Martin Suker said that Farage had been swanning off over the Atlantic rather than doing the job he was being paid £86,500 a year for. "I hear complaints all the time," he said. "There's no office or staff sorted, his emails don't get responded to." While some Farage fans bridled at the criticism of their hero, several Twitter users praised the epic rant. One wrote, "Legendary intro. I hope Ferrari and Farage could see him deliver that face-to-face too."